Hey friends, it's me, Lauren Hope, aka Lolo of Good Girl Chronicles, blogger, motivational speaker, body positive model, yes, dog mom, lover of Dwayne Johnson, all around fabulous. You will notice I'm in a different place today. I'm at my friend's house. I'm actually driving to Richmond to pick her up. She's been gone for a week. And I came to water her plants and stuff like that. Oh my gosh, her house is so peaceful. Maybe one day I'll have her on the channel because she just has like such a powerful story and she's just like a powerful woman. But so I've decided that my upload days are going to be on Saturdays at 8 a.m. because that gives me all week to get the content up and things like that. So just be looking out for that. Also, if you're new to the channel, thank you for coming to the channel. I talk about love, sex, relationships, mental health, and everything in between, and the rebuilding of my life since I was homeless for an entire year. And you're going to be watching this episode on Saturday, and that's the day that I graduate from Regent University with a master's in strategic communications, which is such a big deal for me. I started grad school 2 years ago, and I've gone all the way through part-time, and it's been hard. There have been moments when I've wanted to quit, like, oh my gosh. And so to be at this moment is just surreal. And I can't wait to graduate because I want to write more. I want to actively pursue a book agent, and I'm just going to be on fire for my business once I graduate. I'm also really excited that part of strategic communications is public relations, and so I've been working and doing some consulting with entertainers, creatives, and things like that, and I've got a few clients I'm so excited about. But I'll be sharing more of that stuff with you in the weeks to come. Today's vlog, I want to focus on mental health. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It's a national month that's been around since the 80s. And it was really created to draw attention to mental health, people living with mental illnesses, and to encourage people to reach out for help. I still have this dry cough from my allergies. I'm going to be really candid with you about my mental health journey and things like that. I'm also going to talk to you about something called a crisis plan. There's also a variation of this plan called the Wellness Recovery Action Plan by Mary Copeland. And this is a life-saving document, one that everyone should have if you live with a mental illness. And so I'm going to talk about that towards the end, but I want to talk really candidly about mental health, mental illness, mental wellness as it relates to me. I'm a mental health advocate. I'm a certified peer recovery specialist, registered through the Board of Counseling in Virginia, which means that I'm someone with the lived experience of mental illness who's been in recovery, who uses my experience, strength, and hope to help other people. It's actually a profession. I was trained to be certified. I took a test to be licensed through the Board of Counseling. It's a really big deal. I've been peering since 2018, and it's been hard. It's been really hard for me. It's been triggering. I also don't feel like the peer profession really trains peers enough to deal with the things that you see. We lost someone to an overdose last year, and that was really, I couldn't even let myself absorb that. It was so hard. And the poverty that you see, like, I honestly don't think that peers, I don't feel that I was prepared enough for it. I'm really good at my job because I'm empathetic, and my spiritual gifts, one of them is being an encourager, but it's been hard. And I have had mental health crises over the last couple of years, partly due to the job, to peering, and how it has triggered me. And so that's really made me really pause and say, is this something that am I capable of doing this for the long term? Do I want to? I don't know. Those are things that I'm exploring. You know, I need a job, I need money, but there's no question that my mental health has taken a dive doing this job. I've been on unpaid medical leave for a month, and now my job is paying me, but they're not letting me come back. And so there's so much uncertainty about that. And I'm angry and frustrated and scared. And I'm just praying that God has a way of supporting me through all of this, and just being honest. Also, I'm going to be honest and say I hate the word mental illness as it relates to me. I hate it. I hate saying I live with a mental illness, because to say illness to me, in my opinion, is like saying, I'm sick. Like right now, I'm not my best self because of my allergies, right? Mental illness to me means like saying every day, it means like saying I am depressed or I am a depressive person. When I'm a person who lives with depression, some days, most days are awesome, some days are not. Some seasons of life are awesome, some are not. Yeah, I don't like the scarlet letter that it puts on you, honestly. As a mental health advocate, part of what's been hard for me, and again, I'm gonna be very honest, is saying, hey, I live with a mental illness and I'm a suicide attempt survivor. When you say that, people automatically start treating you different, and that's the problem. That's what we mean by stigma, right? They're automatically thinking all of these negative things based on your diagnoses. I've had it in my dating relationships, my personal relationships, my jobs, everything, where I've been vocal about that, and I felt like people have treated me different, and that sucks, and it's not fair. It's also why it takes a lot for me to be an advocate and speaker and to be honest. I feel like it's part of my spiritual calling, so I pray about it and I get through it, but I'm not gonna lie, I fucking hate it sometimes. So sorry for my French. I hate it. I hate the stigma. I hate the stigma. Yeah, the stigma just burns me really bad. Someone's calling me, but I'm not gonna answer. I'm just gonna let it go to voicemail. Hold on 1 second. This is the problem with doing your video on your iPhone. So yeah, I'm just being honest. And Mental Health Awareness Month for me is an opportunity to have conversations about the resources that are out there, because I know that there are people who are struggling. Studies show 1 in 5 people will have a mental health condition in their lifetime, but a large majority of them won't go to therapy or get treatment because of stigma. And in the Black community, it's like even higher. And if I can be part of that change, I want to be. That's why I sit on mental health boards, so people can see a woman of color saying, I live with these conditions and I'm thriving with them. And yeah, I just am not my diagnosis. And that's why I struggle with the word mental illness, because I'm not my diagnosis. You know, I'm a woman who lives with depression, and sometimes it's hard. And I've had 2 mental health relapses in the last 2 years, which has been hard, meaning that I had mental health symptoms that caused me to be hospitalized. And those were hard and traumatic, and I wish that they weren't. I wish our mental health system in my state, Virginia, where going to the hospital for a mental health condition didn't feel like trauma, but it has been for me. One day I'll talk about those things, but not today. Yeah, so what I want to talk to you about, which I feel is the real value of what I'm going to share, is something called a crisis plan. I would not have known about this had I not been a peer specialist. And I think more people need to know about it. Hold on, let me just delete that. That was a voicemail. All right, so since my last mental health crisis, my last hospitalization, I've been working on mine. And I just want it to be like ironclad, because I thought that my crisis plan was good and activated and like smart, but it wasn't, because there were some things in my plan that I needed to happen that didn't happen. And I have to take ownership for that, because I didn't prepare the people in my support system to help me. So I'm gonna try really hard to explain in layman's terms what a crisis plan is. It's kind of like what it sounds like. Now, again, there's different ways you can go about making a crisis plan. You can make one on your own. You can Google, mental health crisis plan, the wellness recovery action plan. There is a cost associated with doing the wellness recovery action plan, because you go through like an 8-week course of how to do it. And it is a really great experience. You learn a lot about yourself in that, in those workshops. The one I learned about crisis plans 2 ways, and you can use this too. The National Alliance on Mental Illness has something called peer-to-peer groups. And peer-to-peer groups are free 8-week courses where people learn about how to live with their mental health diagnoses, how to talk, how to be assertive, meditation, all of those things. I'm actually a peer-to-peer facilitator. Excuse me. I'm actually a peer-to-peer facilitator, and over the summer, I'll be co-facilitating with someone in my area, teaching this peer-to-peer class. That was one of the ways I learned a lot about triggers, how to deal with triggers, and it's absolutely free. You can find resources at your local NAMI at nami.org, nami.org. I also learned about crisis plan through training to be a peer specialist. And actually, oh my gosh, I brought all my papers. I brought the crisis plan and the advanced directive. So we'll talk about an advanced directive and why that's important. And, all right, did I bring all of it? Sugar, I didn't bring all of it. Okay, so this is a crisis prevention action plan. This one we used, my agency that I worked with used the Federal Crisis Prevention Action Plan from SAMHSA. SAMHSA is like the federal arm that addresses substance use and mental health conditions in the country. And so this crisis plan, it's pretty in-depth. It's a lot of, you'll print it off from the internet, and it goes through everything. So let me just tell you. So part one, right? So part one is like feeling well. You're actually gonna write down what you like or how you present or the behaviors that you exhibit when you are feeling well. This is going to educate the people around you on how you are when you're healthy, right? So I wrote, when I am doing well, I'm highly motivated. I have a regular sleep life. I'm very social, I'm positive, and highly motivated. I added that when I'm doing well, I'm a multitasker. I do my makeup. I'm good about hygiene. I'm focused. I'm very chatty. And then I'm more attentive to my dog, and I have a positive perspective on life. So this tells people, this is what my baseline is. That's the psychology term. But this is what Lauren looks like when she's healthy, right? These are the signs. Now, warning signs that means I may be going into a depressive episode. I isolate, I cry a lot, I overeat, I have a lack of motivation, negative self-talk, or a sense of hopelessness. I push people away. I have suicidal thoughts, extreme isolation, insomnia. So this says, this is what things look like when things are starting to break down for me. And this is a document that you share. So like my roommate has this. So she knows if I start exhibiting these signs that she needs to have a talk with me or intervene. So what do I do when the early warning signs are happening? I increase my therapy sessions. I read positive books. Eat healthy, journal, work out, connect to people. I'm also gonna add that sometimes when I get to this point, it can be hard to do basic things. And so I need to be brave enough to ask people to say, hey, can you walk, boo? Can you check in on me? Things like that. Now when things are breaking down, meaning when they're getting really bad, I nap a lot, I binge eat, I don't take care of myself, I won't take Boo outside, Boo's my dog. I cut off my friends, I have suicidal ideation, and then I have all or nothing thinking. So another thing it says, what's the action plan to reduce these symptoms? Again, I'll say increase therapy appointments, consider a medication change, check in with my friends on a regular basis, talk about my feelings, and journal. And I actually am gonna add to this and say, I need someone directly to ask me to say, have you been having suicidal thoughts or things like that, you know? And the more detailed you are in this crisis plan, the better. So I won't go through the whole thing, but basically it asks you about your triggers. It asks you who your support system is, who are the people that you want to intervene when you're not doing well. And once you decide who your supporters are, talk to them about what this means. You say, listen, you're on my crisis plan as a supporter. So if I'm ever in an episode, I need you to look at this and assess how to help me. And if I need to go to the hospital, I need you to take this plan with you to the hospital, right? Because this has everything about what I need what I prefer, and what I need in a mental health crisis. So I need to update my supporters. It asks for your healthcare providers. So I have my therapist up here. I'm also gonna put my med management psychiatrist and my PCP, and that just makes it easier for everyone to coordinate care. It asks you to put down all of the current medications that you're on, and then any medication that you don't want to take and why. You write that down there. And then yeah, and so again, these are things, this helps the doctors, this helps your supporters, because let's say that you're in a mental health episode or a psychiatric episode or whatever, and you can't think clearly, this document is your voice. And this is why I say it's a life-saving document. It really is. And in the state of Virginia, you can say, I have a crisis action plan or a wellness recovery action plan, and say, hey, I need you all to consider that, right? And also ask about the types of treatment that you're on, and then ways to help you after and before care. It's an amazing document. And the last time I went to the hospital, this document was not taken, and it was not a great experience because no one listened to me. So I'm updating it and making it like ironclad. I'm gonna give a copy to everyone. It's gonna be in my health files, which I highly recommend that you should do. So again, you can find this online, but if you wanna learn how to do it, I would go to the Wellness Recovery Action Plan. Google Wellness Recovery Action Plan by Mary Copeland. You can also reach out to your local NAMI office. They're very familiar with these. And NAMI is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. They're a national nonprofit that started off as a grassroots organization to help families better support the people in their lives that live with mental illness. So, and then, hold on, I can throw these papers away because these are like worksheets I took from the hospital. So we will end with talking about an advance directive. And this I actually printed right offline. This is a crisis plan card. I printed this right offline, and I'm gonna fill this out and put this in my wallet. So this is a card that you'll put in your wallet to help emergency responders, law enforcement, mental health personnel, and family members in a time of crisis. This card is a great way to let people know where your crisis plan is or your advance directive, and so they can help you in the case of an emergency. So let's say something happens to you, right? You have this crisis plan. They go, like, let's say you're in crisis. They're gonna go through your wallet and they're gonna look and say, oh, this person lives with a mental health diagnosis, right? So we need to come at them differently. We've seen way too many times where law enforcement have gone to treat people with mental illness and those situations have not ended well, and no case is the same. And I can't make an assessment or a judgment about those cases. What I can say is that if we had more people living with mental illness who were aware of what this is, if we had more people who were law enforcement, first responders, mental health professionals who were aware of what this is and how to use it, you know, maybe those situations could turn out different. Maybe not, but I'm hopeful. I'm all about education and solutions. So yeah, this crisis plan, I just printed off, this crisis plan card, I just printed off. I'm gonna fill it all out. It'll tell people if I have a crisis plan, where it is, all of that stuff. And then I sign it, and I have 2 witnesses sign it. So this is a legal document. Now, an advance directive. I don't have my advance directive with me, but I've had one since 2017. And right on the back of this, it explains what an advance directive is. More and more people who have mental health concerns are developing crisis plans for themselves, like the Wellness Recovery Action Plan. A separate tool that some people are developing is an advance directive. Virginia has adopted into law that people can have a health care directive that includes instructions for mental health care. So advance directive, right? That's a legal document. But recently, a couple years ago, Virginia made into law that people with a mental health condition could have a health care directive or a psychiatric advance directive. Advance directives that have instructions for mental health care can be used to name an agent. This is a person who's going to make decisions on your behalf if you're unconscious. Advance directives can also be used to specify your treatment instructions and preferences. Like the crisis plan, advance directives are useful tools for people in crisis and can give important information to emergency responders or providers. And advance directives have an added benefit. They are a legal document. So the information in them is binding on agents and providers. That's why this is so important. Once you get these things, a witness and stuff, it is a legal document. And it will help you, it will increase the chances that you get the support and care that you need in the moment of crisis. So if you want to learn more about this, and I'll put this in the comments below, go to virginiaadvancedirectives.org, virginiaadvancedirectives.org, or you can go to a nonprofit in the state called Vocal Virginia. That's VOCAL, Virginia.org. I'm really glad that I did this. My energy was kind of low because of my allergies and stuff like this, but as I move out of graduate school, I want to move more into mental health advocacy and talking to legislators and giving this type of information to people about mental health resources and to equip people who are living with mental illness and mental health conditions on how to protect themselves. So yeah, this was good. I really hope this was helpful for you. If you like these type of videos, give me a thumbs up. That not only helps me know what you like, but it helps the algorithm. Also, hit that subscribe button if you like this type of video too. I talk about mental health a lot, and if you have questions, like if I don't know the answer, I will find someone who will. My Instagram is Good Girl Chronicles LLC. I'm extremely active there if you want to reach out to me. And also, I've just branched out into Patreon. Patreon is a website where content creators can kind of find a way to monetize their content. It's a way to step it up, to start living as a content creator and influencer. Memberships start at $5 a month on my Patreon. I'll be offering exclusive photos, like some of these boudoir photos that I took. I can never say that. Exclusive writing that I won't handle anywhere else, any early access to tickets or things like that, I will put on the Patreon. All you have to do is go to my Patreon page, pick a membership level that is good for you, and just know you'll be sewing into me and into my dream. It's so interesting how doing these vlogs like calm me. All right, well now I'm gonna potty and I'm gonna go to Richmond and it's gonna be amazeballs. Thank you guys for supporting me so much. We're almost to 600 subscribers, which is really insane to think about, but all of that is because of people like you. As we say here at Good Girl Chronicles, I love you, I love God more. See you next time.